All right. Well, welcome everybody. I'm so glad to be with you today and bring our special guest, Elaine Stein, to the show. And she has a really unique story that I was excited to have her share with us because it folds together a lot of what we all go through as parents and some challenges that have occurred in her life and her family and her parenting, how she's dealt with them on a number of levels and really taken what can be quite a challenging situation and really turned it into a way to improve her family's life and then actually help other people improve their lives. So I'm so glad to have you with us today, Elaine. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Brad.
And I wanted to just jump in for anybody who doesn't know you. Give us a little bit of your background, your story, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, so I'm a mom, a wife, a former teacher here in Northern California. I mean, I was your typical person, typical mom, and then really my life shifted when my 15-month-old baby at the time, changed. So something changed in him, and I was so curious as to what happened. Like I said, I was your typical mom doing typical things, going to the pediatrician, not understanding why anyone would pay more for organic food. Just going along, doing my thing, the basic person. And like I said, that 15-month well baby visit shifted everything. My son was then diagnosed with autism at 18 months. I knew what typically developing kids looked like because I have an older daughter. And so once Jackson, my son, flatlined and I wasn't seeing the interaction with him, he wasn't playing patty cake anymore. He wasn't even responding to his name anymore. He would start to line things up. I knew something was off. And so that really sparked my journey into researching for myself and looking into, empowering myself to make the best choices for me and my family. And my goodness, what I have learned along the way has been incredible, eye-opening, shocking, and I will never be the same person just because of what has happened to my son. So he has severe autism. I know there's a range, and people probably often think, oh, there's Rain Man and very savant and very smart. But you know what? There's also that other end of the spectrum, the nonverbal, the potty training issues, the tantrums. We have our major challenges, and we have been through many holistic interventions, including simple things like essential oils. We do chiropractic. We have been as far as going to Panama for stem cells, Reiki, cranial sacral. I mean, I have a list of probably 30 interventions that, and of course, diet, have worked for many other kids. And Jackson has been like this classic non-responder. I mean, I don't want to speak it into existence, but none of the interventions that we have tried and spent thousands and thousands and thousands out of pocket for have been like the magic bullet that like has transformed him. However, 7 months ago, we did start our journey with CBD oil. And that has been a piece that we have seen noticeable results. So that's a snapshot of my quick story.
Yeah, wow. So, and how old is he now?
He's nine and a half.
Okay, so almost 9 years, or almost 8 years in this journey.
Yeah.
So, not to get too far off track, but up until that well baby check you're talking about, would you say was there some sort of a drastic shift, or was it just sort of like you weren't quite sure, and then that was sort of what confirmed what was going on with him?
Yeah, I take myself back to those months and years. I mean, he was walking, he crawled, he was babbling, he loved playing peekaboo at one point, he loved interacting, he loved floor time. And then, yeah, that 15-month appointment, I can't pinpoint it to one thing or one, vaccine or one thing. I do think it's just toxic overload. His body, paired with the MTHFR genetic mutation, just could not handle the amount of toxins bombarded on his body. At that point, like, I did nurse him for 9 months. I was a teacher, so I was back to work. I was pumping in my little office. It was crazy. And so at 9 months, he was on some GMO formula. I didn't know then. And like I said, I didn't spend the extra money on organic. I figured food was food. I didn't know. And I feel like I represent a typical mom these days. Like, a lot of people just don't know the effect of all these toxins on our bodies.
Yeah, for sure. And so, I mean, I think you bring up a number of points in your story that probably other people can relate to. And I think one of those that is interesting to talk about is how you were saying there was no one sort of magic bullet. And I think we've really reached a point where we sort of expect that to happen because we're sort of sold this story by, the pharmaceutical or the, that type of thing, that like there's going to be this one magic drug that solves the problem. And so, what kind of stuff do you do with him now, since you tried all that stuff? What you mentioned CBD oil. Let's look at the whole picture, and we'll kind of dive into CBD a little bit more too.
Yeah. So, I mean, we clean things up in our environment. So any cleaning products, any, things that we use in our house, we've researched it and we know the ingredients, and we're happy with that. Diet. So he's gluten-free and dairy-free. I haven't dove in to do, the GAPS diet or any of those hard, those big diets, but that is on my list of things to try. But he's generally a healthy eater. He only drinks, reverse osmosis water. He doesn't get a lot of extra sugar. Weekly chiropractic, essential oils, a handful of basic supplements. At one point, like we have a thick binder full of every blood test, stool test, hair test, urine test. So at one point he was like on this customized nutraceutical program. Right now we've backed down to just the basics. We're kind of at this place where we're ready for a new path. So we're on a wait list with a doctor in Southern California. So I'm ready for a fresh set of eyes on him. We're kind of at a standstill. We haven't seen, anything either way, progress or regression. So that's what we're doing now, but I'm looking forward to the future. And it's something that I'm never going to give up at. Like, I know that his body is toxic. I'm sure he's loaded with heavy metals and foreign substances, but I do think that with the proper support that he can detox and thrive to the best of his ability. Like, I'm not saying he has to be fully recovered, but I do think that he can continue to go in a healing direction.
Totally. So, I mean, I say totally because like I talk to a lot of people who are in the alternative health field, other parents all the time. And some of the stories we hear, or I hear, are pretty remarkable in terms of taking somebody from, not functioning or not well functioning autism, extreme autism, to a highly functioning individual. So definitely, it's definitely worth all the steps you guys are taking, to do that. So you mentioned that 7 months ago, I think you said you added CBD oil to the regimen, and that's actually how I think how you and I got to know each other on Facebook, how we became Facebook friends, related to that, and started interacting more because for myself, a couple months ago, I was sort of reintroduced to how widely available CBD oil is becoming in our marketplace, and which, I had actually done a bunch of research about 6 or 7 years ago about juicing raw cannabis, and got really excited about it because the research was remarkable, but the application was so difficult because here I was, I practice in a small town in the Pacific Northwest, and I have a lot of elderly people, and they have, all kinds of health challenges, Alzheimer's and cancers and things like that. And I'm like, you need to juice cannabis. And then I'm thinking, this is somebody who's probably never smoked pot at all, like not even once. And now I'm telling them they have to juice it, which means you have to grow it because you have to have enough to be able to, and so there was this huge, gap. And so I kind of set it aside. And with all of the recent news and everything about CBD, I was like, oh, here's that opportunity again. So I started researching and looking into like how I could apply that in my practice, physical practice, but more importantly, online, because I interact with a lot of families who, have, stories similar to yours, Elaine's. And so it was cool to meet you in that milieu, in my research and trying to learn about it. And here was this example of a mom who, was doing all this stuff, trying all of the things that I talk about and train about and teach about, and has added CBD and seen some benefit. So why don't you tell us what specifically you noticed once you started adding CBD to your son's regimen?
Yeah. So like I said, Jackson is 9.5. I would classify as severe autism, nonverbal. his body, even with what we are doing and we're doing, it was just on overdrive. He would flap, he would screech, he would not sleep so well. He's just, we just ups and downs. He wouldn't sit with us at dinner. It was challenging for sure. So we added in CBD. Actually, we added in CBD 4 years ago with our holistic doctor. He prescribed Jackson's medical marijuana card for going to dispensaries and experimenting. The thing with that is he would not take it. The taste or something, he was so turned off by the different CBDs that we tried 4 years ago. And so I was hesitant at first to try the brand that I'm using, HempWorks, but it came with a 30-day, now 60-day money back guarantee. So I figured, I believe in cannabis. I believe, I know I've done some research. I know we all have an endocannabinoid system. And so I was open to trying a new brand and seeing, how it went. And so we did. I mean, within the first week, we just noticed an element of calm come over him. The much reduced hand flapping, the screeching reduced, sleeping was better. He sleeps through the night. He would sit with us at dinner. Now we can go out to dinner. We went to an amusement park. He could stand in line. We've gotten him in the dentist chair for the first time in his life. We used to have to put him under anesthesia, and I know how horrible that is, but we have no alternative to get a teeth cleaning. And now he will sit and open his mouth. So, for some people that might seem like, oh, that's awesome. But for us in an autism house, it's life changing. So just what's the calm that has come over our house.
Wow, that's remarkable. All of that, but that you started to notice within a week, that's pretty fast to see that kind of change. And so then I assume, or I guess I know, but you started using it with your whole family at some point too, yourself. And what other stuff have you guys noticed aside from with your son?
Yeah. So my husband has chronic elbow pain from multiple surgeries gone wrong. And so we have a topical pain relief cream. He likes that cream to rub on his elbow. And we all just take our daily dose. We found kind of the minimal amount we need to feel the effects. It's just it's our superfood supplement. It's an everyday thing to support our endocannabinoid system. And so for me personally, the first thing I noticed was sleep. 30 minutes before bed, I take my second dose and I sleep really well. I wake up refreshed. I work out most days and I noticed my muscles recover quicker. I noticed an element of brain fog lifted. I just feel focused and I feel better on than off. I just feel like I'm a better mom. And so, even my daughter, like a typically developing, person or child, this is like an anti-inflammatory. It's anti-everything. It's just such a powerful thing that most people are walking around endocannabinoid and cannabinoid deficient. So we have this system that does have research, like you were saying. There are clinical studies. And so it's amazing what happens to each unique body when it's supported with CBD. Hemp-derived CBD is what we're talking about.
Right. So that's a good distinction to make, because I know there's a lot of confusion out there as I've started researching and learning more and then starting to share about it. A lot of people have a lot of confusion. There's two big ones. I think probably you run into this being in California, and I'm on the West Coast too. A lot of people have heard about it, so they have some idea. But the two confusions are either, they confuse it with, like they're going to get stoned, or they're worried about that. And then the other confusion is, how do we know, like there's so many brands and you hear bad stuff about ones, like how do you know what you're getting? Because it's kind of in this regulatory gray zone. So can you talk about those 2 points?
Yeah. This is absolutely the wild, wild west of CBD, because 1 month ago, it was just signed. The Farm Bill, the 2018 Farm Bill was signed into law. So hemp is fully legal. And so with cannabis, there are two species. There is hemp and there is marijuana. Hemp is high CBD, low THC, whereas marijuana is opposite, high THC, low CBD. Both have great healing and medicinal properties. But what I'm using with my family is hemp derived. And so there's two Here's actually a snapshot of the bottle that we use, but there's two ways you can go. There's the full spectrum, which does have the trace amounts of THC. And when I say trace amounts, it's 0.03%. So nothing psychoactive. My kids are not walking around, stoned or high. It's all the health without the high. And aside from that, with the full spectrum, it is 85 other cannabinoids. So it's extracted from the entire plant. There is so much healing when you can find an organic hemp plant. And for people who do get drug tested or are just not comfortable with that trace amounts of THC, there is the isolate version, which is just literally CBD. And so it is important for consumers to be knowledgeable about CBD if they are going into that space, because it's very unregulated. You're not going to see the organic symbol. There are starting to be some certifications to distinguish, good brands that are following the rules. But I mean, you are going to see CBD popping up everywhere. And so it's important to know what goes into a good CBD. So things that you want to look for are, where is it grown? Where is it grown? It should be hopefully in the USA on an organic farm, pesticide free, third party tested, batch tested. So each batch should be tested for pesticides, heavy metals, and molds. CO2 extracted. Ideally a 30-day money back guarantee so that you can try it and put it in your body and see if you feel the shift. And you should also look for a nutrition label. There should be a nutrition label on the back that tells you the ingredients. It should tell you how many milligrams of CBD per dose. It should be a transparent company. So you should be able to go to the website, look at the certificates of analysis, look at the documentation so that you know exactly what you're putting in your body, because I am a researcher. It's important to me. And I have to know where my products are coming from and what's in them.
Well, yeah, I mean, naturally, what we were talking about just a minute ago with your son, and that, you have this understanding that there's some level of toxic overload that is at the root of what's going on with him. So, it makes sense that in finding a supplement that was going to help him, you would want to know that you're not adding to that toxic load.
Right.
And I think that third-party testing is so important. I heard about a study where they took some number, 20 of the top brands, and tested them for content, and 70% were mislabeled. 70% didn't have the amount of CBD that they claim to have. Some didn't even have CBD at all. And 40% of them had ingredients found in the analysis that were not labeled on the label, And so, so let's step back a second and talk more about your story and sort of maybe explain your expertise in all of the finer things about CBD. But so you started using it with your son, you started to notice those benefits, and then you took a step at some point, either then or soon after, that's what I want to hear about, to actually to create a business out of this, because I'm assuming, you could help other people and saw the opportunity. So tell us about that journey in yourself, going from trying it with your son to launching a business of promoting it and helping other people with CBD oil.
Right. Yeah, I did not come in for the business. I just wanted a pure organic CBD. The amazing thing is that my son responded and that we love these products. And it's not just CBD oil. I mean, the product line, there's a big product line. There's a pet line. There is an organic CBD coffee. There's creamers. There's topicals. And so I took a look. Once I knew that we loved the products, the oil, the flagship product is the CBD oil, I took a look at the business. It's pretty amazing that there is a business opportunity attached to these amazing products. And talk about alignment, an alignment of products and an opportunity to share these products with other people. So HempWorks is a ground floor company. It's 14 months old. It's established as far as a CBD company. I love, that it's so transparent, and I love so many things about it. And I do see that vision that this is, the era of CBD. This is the green rush. Like, there is an amazing opportunity. The CBD industry is set to grow, in the next 4 years by $22 billion. HempWorks as a company is on track to become $1 billion company this year. I mean, we are seeing massive growth, and it really does start with an amazing product that is shifting people's health. Like the testimonies that we see in we have a group of about 12,000 people. These products don't discriminate. Like everyone, every mammal has that endocannabinoid system. And so we're seeing older people benefit. We're seeing pregnant women. We're seeing pets. We're seeing horses. We're seeing young kids. We're seeing college students. Like a product line that works for everyone in an industry that is on its trajectory up. Is just everything is super aligned. And it's something that I can really get behind because I do have that drive in my heart that everyone deserves to be on this CBD oil. Everybody.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I also think, one thing I've heard you share about too, is that, you mentioned you were a teacher and that, and I've heard you share that you, don't do that anymore. You're in your HempWorks business full time now. But I think about a lot of parents who have similar stories with their kids, whether it's autism, whether it's other chronic illnesses, ADHD, and they're having difficulty in school, whatever might be going on. And they want to be able to take them to that list of 30 alternative, therapies and maybe even travel somewhere, internationally to get stem cells and be able to do all this stuff. And, they have a hard time affording just buying organic food, let alone all that other stuff. And being away from their kids. I talk to a lot of parents who know that homeschooling would be the way to go, that would really help, or putting them in some special private school or something like that. They're just failing and having trouble and failing, at public school, or the school is failing them, I guess. Yeah. And so they could thrive elsewhere. And so what really, I guess somewhat similar to you, I have found HempWorks just, in looking at different brands and companies, and I was really drawn to the purity, the organic farming, the transparency, the third-party testing. And then I found all that. And then I found that it was a network marketing business too. And as a professional with an office, I don't necessarily have a big problem with network marketing. I think it's actually a pretty cool model, but I'm like, I'm really busy. Do I want to do that and put my attention on something else also? And I was kind of humming and humming about it. And then it sort of clicked. And it might have been because of a post of yours or not. We'll give you credit. It was a post of yours. and I thought, actually, this is so cool because this is something that's so beneficial. And so many of these, it's mostly moms, but so many of these parents are struggling just to make ends meet. And then they have a special needs kid, or in some families, more than one. And here, and they want to try something like CBD oil and see its benefits, but they're afraid they can't even afford that. And to be able to invest their hard work, blood, sweat, and tears, and $20, they can start their own business that, as an example, someone like you has turned it into, you left your 9-to-5 job and you're earning what I think is a better income than you were at that. Mm-hmm. And be able to be there for your kids and do the things you want to do. And it's very inspiring.
Yeah, thank you. Parenthood changes everything, right? Priorities shift. We have these new little people that we have to take care of, and then throw special needs into the mix. So yes, I was a teacher for 12 years. I taught kindergarten, first grade, second grade, and third grade. And I love it. I do love teaching, and I'm passionate about that and education. But you know what? Leaving the house at 7 a.m. and not being home till 4:30 and missing Jackson's therapy and having to pay someone to give him off the bus and feeling like a chicken with my head cut off, it was not working. And so, the fact that there is this amazing opportunity that for $20 and your choice of product, like you can be in business with HempWorks. So I have shifted. Now I do this full time. It's amazing. My teaching salary has doubled. I was the person who followed the rules. So I went to school, I went to college, I got my teaching degree. Like I didn't really know, I never thought outside the box. I didn't even know anything like this really existed. And so now that I see that I can, share these products and do HempWorks' marketing for them, and they pay me to do that, and I get to meet a culture of like minds. I get to meet you, Brad, and other chiropractors and other massage therapists and moms and dads and grandparents. Like it's amazing the quality of people that see this vision with HempWorks, with the amazing products, plus this unique time in history of, the CBD green rush, plus this established yet ground floor company, like it really truly is all in alignment. And like to parents who are just running around and cannot make ends meet and just are frustrated and overwhelmed and anxious, like there is another way. And I'm not going to pretend like this is easy or it's a get rich quick thing. I work really hard but it is absolutely possible to just, add this in as a side thing and see where it takes you. We do as a team. We have a lot of training. Like I wasn't always this educated on CBD. Now I'm so passionate about it that I'm in there reading the studies and looking up research and seeing what it can help, people with. But people come to me and say, I'm not a CBD expert. I'm not a salesperson. Neither am I. I'm just a loving mom. I have a story. I share other people's stories. I see other testimonies that roll through our group of life-changing results adding this oil in. So it's been amazing. Like it's incredible. I still have to pinch myself that this has happened because it's so new, just 7 months, and I've doubled my teaching salary and gotten to meet all these other new incredible people. It's been so fun and in alignment with everything who I am.
That's awesome. It totally is an inspiring story. And I think you touched on a couple things there that I just want to highlight. Sorry, my dog is over here. He wants to be on screen.
Oh, yes.
This is Hero.
So cute.
He has a bed on my desk, and he was just climbing out of it. So, all right. There you go. He takes CBD oil too.
Yeah, my dog too.
Yeah, bacon flavored. But you mentioned your team and the training and stuff like that. And that honestly, for me, I don't know. I have other Facebook friends that are, have hempworks businesses, not a ton, but it's there. And really one of the things that I decided to go with your guys' team also was that the amount of support and training. There's a close Facebook group that has like 1,700 people in it. And almost the amount of training for anybody, no matter who you are, where you're entering, is almost overwhelming with the amount it is. It's not like and it walks you through everything you need. And I thought that's a great thing for me and for anybody else who I can introduce this opportunity to, because to me, a big part of who we are as humans is we're entrepreneurs. We're creators, each of us, no matter what that looks like. And a lot of us haven't done, had experiences in life that have opened us to our entrepreneurial spirit maybe yet, but anything that can kindle that for people, allow them an outlet to express themselves entrepreneurially, I think is an awesome thing, because it lets us really share who we are with the world and create the lives that we want. And I think that's super cool. And I know we're running out of time here because you have to get onto something else. I would like you to just, if you could do it in like 30 seconds or 1 minute, tell us, because I know you had been part of at least one other network marketing business in the past. Mm-hmm. And to me, this makes sense because of what you're saying, the green rush and CBD. But can you just give us like the quick snapshot of your difference of experience? Because you've been doing this one for whatever you said, 6 months or something like that. Yeah. And so what was the difference?
Big difference. So I've only been with one other network marketing company. It was health and wellness, shakes and cleanse. And I love the products for myself. One word that sets this apart is simple. Like this is just simple. You have a shareable link. It's just like ordering on Amazon. There's one price for people. No auto ship required. People order for themselves. We chat about dosing. It is so simple. It's duplicatable. Other people can do what I do. You don't have to get on, 15-minute calls for cleanse coaching and create meal plans for people. This is simple. This time in history is so unique. This is the time. A ground floor company. I mean, being healthy is expensive, and I want my family to be healthy. I want to be able to give them chiropractic, the best food, the best water, the best cleaning supplies, the best. If I want to go to a holistic doctor on the East Coast, I want to be able to fly with a snap of a finger. It costs money to take care of yourself, and what better way to, put that in your own hands and to have unlimited income. There's no income cap, whereas my teaching career, it was $65,000. Like that was it. And then talk about taxes, I was making next to nothing. So this is just really amazing. It's totally in alignment with timing, with product, with people are looking for this CBD. If you're not talking about it, they're going to get it from a drugstore, and it's not going to be a good thing for them. So just, I forget what your question was, but
you answered it.
The difference is, okay, the difference is simple. This HempWorks is simple.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate so much you coming on and sharing some of your wisdom, some of your experience with us. I think it's going to be really valuable for a lot of other moms, other parents out there, other people looking to improve the health of their kids, their family, explore their own entrepreneurial spirit in whatever way they interact. I really appreciate you taking your time with us today.
Of course, I'm always here to collaborate. That's what I love about this. It's a teamwork, like we support each other and all these amazing people show up. So it's been such a pleasure, Brad. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, you can have a good day.
All right, you too. Bye.